2 weeks ago, I walked into a grocery store and bought something that made the cashier genuinely pause and ask me what I was planning to do with it. Turnips. A whole bag of them, every single day for 14 days. And I want to be upfront. I did not go into this expecting much. Turnips are not glamorous. They don't have a celebrity endorsement or a wellness influencer behind them. They're just this humble, slightly weird, root vegetable that most people either ignore completely or associate with something their grandparents used to cook. But after 14 days, I genuinely could not believe what this vegetable had been doing quietly inside my body. So stay with me, because what I found might completely change how you think about one of the most overlooked foods in the world. Quick bit of context before we get into it. I'm not a doctor or a dietitian. I'm just someone in their 30s who has become obsessed with understanding what food actually does to the body beyond what the label says. I got tired of vague wellness claims with zero science behind them. I wanted to know what was actually happening at a biological level. And with turnips specifically, the more I dug into the research, the more I realized this vegetable has been wildly, almost criminally underrated for decades. So I committed to 14 days, tracked everything. And here's exactly what happened. The science set up. Turnips belong to the Brassica family, the same family as broccoli, kale, and cabbage. And that family has one of the most robust bodies of scientific research behind it, of any food group on the planet. A large-scale review published in the European Journal of Nutrition in 2017 found that higher consumption of Brassica vegetables was significantly associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and several forms of cancer. That's backed by population data from multiple countries over decades. Turnips are extraordinarily low in calories, around 28 per 100 grams, while delivering vitamin C, vitamin K, folate, potassium, and a class of compounds called glucosinolates. When you chew or digest turnips, glucosinolates break down into compounds called isothiocyanates, which have been studied extensively for their anti-inflammatory and cancer-protective effects. Even before I started the experiment, the science was already telling me this was worth taking seriously. Days 1 to 7. Day 1, I roasted them. Cubed, olive oil, a little salt. Honestly, better than I expected. Slightly sweet, a little peppery, with a texture somewhere between a potato and a radish. By day 4, I'd already noticed something unexpected. My digestion had genuinely shifted. Things were just moving more efficiently. 1 cup of cooked turnip provides about 3.1 grams of dietary fiber, and a 2019 meta-analysis in The Lancet found that every 8-gram increase in daily fiber intake was associated with a 19% reduction in cardiovascular disease risk and significant improvement in gut microbiome diversity. Your gut microbiome affects immune function, mood, metabolism, and inflammation levels. Feeding it well matters, and turnips do that efficiently. Days 5 through 7, my skin started looking noticeably less dull, more hydrated. A single medium turnip provides roughly 30% of your daily vitamin C requirement, and a 2017 review in Nutrients confirmed that vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis and protecting skin cells from oxidative damage. Getting it consistently from food, rather than supplements, means your body receives it alongside other cofactors that help absorb and use it more effectively. Around day 6, my afternoon energy was more stable, less of that foggy, reaching for coffee feeling at 3 p.m. Turnips have a significantly lower glycemic index than white potatoes, which I'd been eating regularly before. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition consistently shows that replacing high GI carbohydrates with low GI alternatives leads to more stable blood sugar and more consistent mental clarity throughout the day. That afternoon crash is largely a blood sugar story, and turnips tell a better version of it. Days 8 to 10. Really quick. If you're getting value from this, please hit the like button right now. It takes 2 seconds and genuinely helps this video reach more people. I appreciate it. Week 2. Days 8 through 10, I started feeling less inflamed, less puffy around my face in the mornings, less stiffness getting up from my desk. This is where the glucosinolate story becomes really important. A 2018 study in Molecular Nutrition and Food Research demonstrated that Isothiocyanates, the compounds turnips produce when you eat them, significantly suppress NF-κB, essentially the master switch for inflammatory signaling in the body. Chronic activation of NF-κB is linked to arthritis, cardiovascular disease, and accelerated aging. You can't feel this at a cellular level, But I believe you can feel its downstream effects, and I was feeling them. My appetite was also more regulated. I wasn't reaching for snacks between meals the way I usually do. Turnips are around 92% water, and that combination of water and fiber creates sustained fullness. A 2015 study in the journal Appetite found that increasing fiber and water intake through whole foods reduced overall daily caloric intake by an average of 10% without participants feeling deprived. Over weeks and months, that compounds significantly. Days 11 to 14. By now, I was genuinely enjoying turnips, which I never would have predicted. Roasted with garlic, blended into soups, sliced thin in stir-fries, even raw with hummus. Days 11 through 14 brought two things I hadn't been explicitly tracking, but couldn't ignore. First, my sleep. Falling asleep faster, waking up more rested. Turnips contain magnesium and potassium, both of which play documented roles in nervous system regulation and sleep quality. A 2012 review in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences confirmed that magnesium deficiency, affecting an estimated 48% of Americans, according to nutrition reviews, is directly linked to poor sleep and increased anxiety. Consistently eating magnesium-rich foods matters more than most people realize. Second, by day 14, I'd lost 1.4 kilograms without trying. Without counting calories or changing my exercise routine, just by adding turnips daily, which naturally displaced some higher calorie, lower nutrient foods I'd been eating before. Over months, that's a real trend. The reality check. I want to be honest because these videos are more useful when they're balanced. Turnips are not magic. If you're eating them alongside a diet full of ultra-processed food, the impact will be limited. Also, raw turnips contain goitrogens, compounds that in large quantities can interfere with thyroid function. If you have a thyroid condition, speak to your doctor before going heavy on any Brassica vegetable. For most healthy people eating normal quantities, cooking neutralizes most goitrogenic activity, and this is a non-issue, but I'd rather mention it than not. Final takeaway. Here's where I land. Turnips are cheap, globally available, nutritionally extraordinary, and almost entirely ignored by the modern food conversation. A vegetable that supports gut health, reduces inflammation, stabilizes blood sugar, improves skin, and has population-level data, linking it to reduced cardiovascular and cancer risk. For pennies per serving, deserves far more attention than it gets. You don't need to eat them every day like I did. Just start working them in 2 or 3 times a week. Roast them, mash them, throw them in a soup. The compound effect over weeks and months is real, and your body will tell you faster than you'd expect. 14 days, one overlooked root vegetable, and genuinely, I feel better for it. If you made it to the end, thank you, that means a lot. If this gave you something useful, hit subscribe because I do these experiments regularly, and I put serious work into making sure the science is solid, and the content is genuinely worth your time. See you in the next one!